Hello, everybody. It's your girl, Miss Awaken again. And I'm here to talk about something that I know we're well past due for talking about, so I'm going to talk about it tonight. We're going to cover expecting the expectations. Now, when it comes to expecting the expectations, let's start from the beginning. When it comes to a husband and a wife expecting a baby, the wife is pregnant. They don't know what type of baby to expect to have, but they do expect a baby to be born. So they'll put certain expectations on the fulfillment of this birth, the fulfillment of bringing this new life into the world. The father may want a son, so I want a boy. The mother may want a daughter, so I want a girl. Majority of all pregnancies come with only one baby. So we have to be able to bring ourselves back to reality and realize, okay, one of us are only going to be correct. We have a 50% chance of getting the fulfillment of our expectation. Sometimes expectations does not show us what in all is actually going to happen. It's a provision that we give to ourselves, right? And so because we have our own plans, our own agendas, our own ideas, our own thoughts and fulfillments that we would like to see come to pass, sometimes we take away from the divine thing to happen and come to pass the way it was designed to, in God's own way, with God's own timing, okay, and with his full authority. In the middle of this pregnancy, before the baby is born, they know that within the next weeks and months, the mother and the father are going to go through some few things. The mother's going to have some cravings. The father's going to get annoyed. The mother's probably going to eat a lot of different things that she probably never ate before, or she's going to repeatedly eat similar things during this pregnancy. The father, out of remorse, will essentially gain weight because he will want to eat with her, to not make her feel alone or have that level of empathy for her, since she's crying all the time and a little moody here and there, because not all women cry all the time. But sometimes these are going to be legitimate expectations. The mother is going to be expected to have morning sickness. Okay, there's an expectation for that. You're looking for that to happen, not because you want it to happen, because this is the normalcy of how pregnancy works in the process of this baby being grown inside of a womb. Okay, it's expected when it comes in a more scientific way, when we're dealing with biology. As the seed grows, so does the placenta. Not only does the placenta, but the skin of the woman, which means it's expected, there's an expectation anyway, that when the baby is born, the mother's going to have stretch marks. It's expected that while she's pregnant and her stomach is expanding, she's going to want cocoa butter or shea butter, something like that, to help with the scratching and the itching as her body stretches, right? It's going to be an expectation that she's going to have to get prenatals. It's going to be an expectation that there's going to be frequent trips to the obstetrician. There's going to be an expectation that the mother is going to want some pillows. There's going to be a baby shower. You understand what I'm saying? And so when it comes to this, it doesn't stop with the expectation of a baby being born. It's in that metaphor. So just walk with me for a moment. When you're expecting something, it's because you have something that's going to have a full manifestation of that thing that you're holding, that you're cultivating, that you're holding on to until God's timing, not ours. Because we all know the phrase, if you want to tell God your plans, that's the best way to make him laugh, right? So we try not to tell God our plans, but sometimes humanity cannot stop us from wanting to put expectations on what we know will eventually come to pass. When it comes to expecting the expectations, there's certain avenues and paths that we're going to take in our lives in order to try to reach some goals or some type of level of achievement, a feeling of accomplishment of some kind, right? And by doing this, we're going to want to open up a business, start an LLC, start a corporation, open up a business account, because we want to open up a nail shop, a hair shop, a construction company, a trucking company, an electrical company, a candle making company, a decor company. Any type of new business, we have our own plans, right? So naturally, we have our own expectations because we are visioning our mission. The problem is when we have our own vision of our own mission and there's no provision from God, we omit the almighty power of omnipresence and omniscient plans of the Almighty One, because God is all-knowing and ever-present. When God shows us certain things, this is your provision. This is what I'm going to give you. This is what I'm going to bless you with. How I'm going to bless you is not up for you to try to look down that path. Your job is to have this vision of the light on this path in which I've lit it. If I have not lit that part of your path yet, do not worry what is in the darkness. I'm working something else out in the darkness so that when you get to it, you see what it is and the way has been cleared for you. However, there will be some times when you get past a certain point in your life to fulfill this provision that God has given to you, because you're expecting the fulfillment of that provision. Kind of like the mother and the father in that baby. There's people that's going to want to have what you have, but because they have not been trusted with this level of apparatus, even as something as simple as a flashlight. Because let me sidebar for a second. As much as we don't know it, there's a lot of people that can't pray themselves out of a wet paper bag. That's why they come to certain people for prayer, because they really can't pray for them. Pray for my strength. Pray for my son. Pray for my ankle. Pray for my neck. Pray for my mind. Pray for... I'm not saying that we shouldn't do that. However, if you've been saved for 9 to 10 to 12 to 15, 30 years, there's no reason why somebody else should have to pray for you. I'm sorry. I understand there are some other things to where we're lacking, but where we still constantly have to tell somebody, girl, pray for me. Man, go up, just pray for me, man. Because wait a minute now. Where is your trust? Where is your voice box? Where is your spirit in God to consult with him and say, God, you know me. God, you fix this. Your word said, and I want you to make it come to pass right now. Every evil plan of the wicked enemy, let it be canceled right now in the name of Jesus. Just that simple. But we can't do it without righteousness, because like I said in the other video, prayers of the righteous availeth much. That's how you know you can guarantee yourself some results. And I guess that's why some people don't really want to pray, because they're not so righteous. And so they ask other people to pray for them so they can make up for the righteousness that they can't get themselves. Does that make sense? Like if I asked you to pray for me about something so remedial, it's because I can't pray for myself, because I know I'm not righteous enough. I don't feel righteous enough to talk to God. But let me give you a little bit of a, let me hit you with a little something. None of us feel that righteous to talk to God. All of us should be unworthy to be able to approach his throne and ask him for anything, as if he hasn't done already enough. The song says, if the Lord never does anything else for me, he's already done enough. He's done enough. We understand how that song goes. But when it's spiritual warfare time, because this is also what the expectation should be, whenever we are taking the path of God's provision and reaching that fulfillment of what he is expecting us to get, what he has shown us we're going to get. And so we have taken that path expecting to get that thing. There's an expectation of knowing there's going to be some issues along the way. There's going to be some spiritual warfare. There's going to be some naysayers. There's going to be some doubters. There's going to be some Debbie Downers. There's going to be a finger pointing spirit. There's going to be a python spirit. There's going to be a spiritual thief. I hope y'all writing notes. Let's say you're holding a flashlight and you're walking down a tunnel. You're a little bit apprehensive because you don't know what to expect, and nobody really wants to walk into a place of uncharted territory. Perfectly understandable. God knows that too, but he also knew that before he gave you that flashlight, before he gave you those instructions, before he gave you a blueprint, before he gave you a roadmap, before he knew you had to go through this tunnel in order to fulfill the provision of what he gave you to receive once you follow through and fulfill that thing that you're expecting to get off of what he showed you. There's going to be people that's going to be so curious about what you're doing. They're not going to be able to help but follow you. They're never going to say you're a catalyst. They're never going to say you're a pioneer. They're never going to say that you're worthy of leading others. But it won't stop them from following you in the distance. But not too far behind now. Because as soon as you leave that part of the tunnel with your flashlight, they will be left in the darkness if there's too much distance between you two. So what they're going to do, they're going to stand back enough to where they don't think you can hear them breathing. And they're going to keep slowly but steadily walk a very slow pace behind you just to see what you're up to. But if anything get to crawling, run through their feet, they're going to come close to you again. And you're not even concerned about it because all you know is I've been through that part of the tunnel already. You can't be where I am because this is not your path. You're following me and you're trying to get illegal access to something you have not been divinely given, right? But these are all the things that we can expect when it comes to expecting the expectation. So I'm going to finish this metaphor of a story. You finish going down this tunnel and you start to feel like, okay, I think I see something. Now you're telling yourself this. These people are not even supposed to be behind you. You know they're behind you. They don't think you know they're behind you, but they're behind you. So you're whispering to yourself, not trying to let them hear you, but some of them are closer than you may think, or some of them just have bionic ears. So what you do is you go towards this light a little bit more. You realize, oh, that's a lamppost. And then somebody whispers to somebody else behind you, oh, she said that's a lamppost. That's a lamppost. Let's go and run to that lamppost. Well, we all can't do it because we'll give ourselves away if it's too many of us. Who's going to do it? Okay, I'll do it. Somebody becomes the ringleader. They run down, they sign themselves up in this rat race that you never saw a sign-up sheet for. They go down this lamppost and then they go and get their foot cut off. Like Kunta Kinte. All because they did not want to admit their name was Toby. You're more of a follower than you are a leader. But that person will be the one that point the finger. You see. That will be the finger pointing spirit. You can expect a finger pointing spirit when it comes to expecting the expectations. Whatever it is you're following through and what you're expecting to get, because watch what God showed you through his provision that he has given you a small preview of. There's an expectation to come across a finger pointing spirit. They get their foot cut off by this bear trap next to the lamppost that they're trying to touch before you. How can you allow me and my foot to get snapped off? It's all your fault. And you can help us say, wait a minute now, hold on. I don't even know how you got here because you're not supposed to be here. Why would you even run up there and do that in the first place? Do you have any idea why I'm here? No. Do you have any idea why I have this flashlight in my hand? No. Do you have any idea what God told me to do once I got to the threshold of this tunnel before I got to the lamppost? No. Well, whose fault is this ultimately? If you're the one with your foot cut off, is it mine or is it truly yours? Now, some people with a very narcissistic and manipulative mindset, they will stick to their story because changing the narrative at this point would mean you win the conversation. You win this battle. You might as well have won the war. But they can't allow that to happen. They can't give people that satisfaction. They can't give you that satisfaction, my love. Because if they give you that satisfaction, that means they have to also give you the satisfaction that they're a thief. They're a catalyst thief, you know. And they don't want to allow you to be the catalyst. They have to admit that you're the catalyst. They have to admit that they're trying to steal from you. They would have to admit all of their wrongdoing. They have to admit that they were eavesdropping. They have to admit that they actually find value in you. That's why they want to try their best to tear you down and devalue you and give you this idea and believing that you don't deserve what God is giving to you. It has to belong to someone else because you don't have the experience. Not to my knowledge. I would never tell you you have that experience. But besides that, you got the finger pointing spirit. Then you have the python spirit. And you have the serpent spirit. And you have the spiritual thief. The python spirit and the serpent spirit is going to look very similar. A python spirit is not going to do everything that a serpent spirit is going to do, because a serpent is going to sit there and talk to you and talk to you and fill you out and talk to you and fill you out and talk to you until they start to get to know your weaknesses with their malicious intent of trying to get to know you. Some people want to get to know you if you let them tell it. But what they really want to know is your weakness. So then when they know what your weakness is, they can use it to their advantage, make you their footstool. And then now you no longer get to operate in your divinity. Everything that you're trying to do, they're already doing it because you gave them the blueprint by them soothing you over, by them being soft-spoken, by them being seductive. See, a python spirit don't have time for seduction games. A serpent does, but a python does not. They will simply take a little bit of this and take a little bit of that from you without you even knowing. It would be so subtle to where you think, okay, they operating like a serpent spirit. Yeah, they are, but a python is never going to take their time with you, okay? A python is going to just try to snatch. They're going to go in for the kill. They ready to use those fangs. All they have to do is get close enough. So what happens is, when a serpent is trying to get you to give your conversation to them, they will sit there. They'll be the ones walking with you, whispering in your ear the entire time, saying, hey, you doing all right? Do you need me to hold that flashlight for you? Can I help you? Is there anything I could do to relieve you? You don't really have to do this alone. You do know that, right? Let me carry that for you. Kind of like all of the people, a part of the, the Fellowship of the Ring. I think it was about 7 people. It was about, 3 or 4 dwarves, a couple of elves, and Gandalf the Grey. They all got together so they could go on this fellowship to taking the ring back to Mordor, to have it burnt back into the fiery volcano, right? Every now and then, one of the elves, somebody, wherever they stopped, someone wanted their hand on that ring. But that was Frodo's job. Nobody gets their hand on that ring but Frodo, right? It's the same thing with that flashlight. That flashlight is your precious. You the one who's supposed to be lurking out for the Smeagol's, the golems. You the one lurking out for the horsemen, You the one that's trying to hide in the darkness while utilizing this light to give you your path of travels, of grace, of peace, of clairvoyance. You're looking for this to follow through and come to pass in the way God has given it to you. But because we're in the middle of expecting the expectations, there's going to be a moment where we don't want to get to a place in knowing, okay, this person that's asking me for my precious, they're not really trying to help me. I have to come to a place and realize that the reason why they're trying to help me is because I don't want to really bear this burden. If I bear this burden by myself, it's going to weigh me down. They may see how I'm sweating and I'm hot and I'm uncomfortable and my feet hurt and my back hurt and I'm starting to get a headache. I'm starting to feel a little woozy. My vision is starting to get blurred and they want to relieve me. And I'm thinking, oh my God, somebody's willing to help me, but that's a serpent. Only a serpent will play on your energy when you're the most weakest. Isn't that what the serpent did with Eve? It wasn't until she was weak, which is the very moment she departed from Adam, that the serpent tried to do what? Play in her energy. Talk some sense into her. Change her mind about what she was instructed to do. That's the person that's going to be right there next to you the entire way. Is there anything I can do? Do you need something to eat? Can I help you take your shirt off? Can I help you wipe your sweat? Can I do this and can I do that? Also a Jezebel spirit, but we're going to talk about that another day. Let's move on. There's also the Python spirit. Like I said, they don't have the time to do what the serpent doing. Okay? You just want to look back, you're going to feel around in your pockets, and you're going to realize your debit card is gone. Okay? You're going to pull on your ear because you're itching or something like that. You're going to realize one of your earrings are gone. You understand? A Python spirit, before you know, your vision is blurred because they slowly but surely, without you even realizing it, took your glasses off for you. You wondering why. Your vision is blurred all of a sudden. They're taking things piece by piece by piece by piece, not to where you're noticing who's doing it, why they're doing it, and what it is they're doing to you. It's crazy. But this is expecting the expectations when you know you are taking God's path. This is the expectations. Then you have the spiritual thief. You get to the end of the tunnel. The spiritual thief is the quietest one. You barely know they're there. The spiritual thief is the person that will wait until you do all you need to do. You get on the other side. You're under the lamppost. You're practically right next to the finger pointing spirit, right? The python is on your right, and the serpent is on your left. And now you have the spiritual thief behind you. What we don't understand is spiritual thieves usually are thieves at some other part in their lives. Once a thief, always a thief. Just because they no longer snatching up stuff out of stores don't mean that they're not looking for a scapegoat to steal purity from. So yeah, you made it. I followed you to where you made it from, and I'm even still standing in the tunnel because you're on the other side. I'm still in the tunnel, that very line that still keeps this part of the tunnel dark. So I'm going to stand right here. I'm going to let you think you're making it. And before you know it, I'm going to run up to you and I'm going to sucker punch you. I'm going to snatch this flashlight and I'm going to take the rest of the way without you, without the finger pointer, without the serpent, and without the python. If they want to come, they can too, but I'm going to outrun them too. A spiritual thief is the only one that wants to make it. They want to be the one. They are the one that will steal from the chosen, and they will disguise themselves as an angel of light so that they too can look like what we truly are. So when it comes to the expecting of the expectations, there's a lot of things and different aspects and engagements that we have to endure, that we have to gain wisdom over, that we have to understand and know that when we got God on our side, when we got God leading us, when we have God directing us, there's going to be some confusion. And we're going to end up crying like Habakkuk. That's if we don't know why we're dealing with these spirits. Because Habakkuk, little do we know, Habakkuk did not know why he was going through what he was going through, why he felt so burdened the way he did. I'm going to read this. Habakkuk, the first chapter, the first through the 4th verse, and then I'm going to go down to 2nd chapter in the 3rd verse. The burden which Habakkuk the prophet did see. Okay, the burden that the prophet Habakkuk saw. O Lord, how long shall I cry and thou wilt not hear? Okay, how long shall I cry without you listening? Even cry out unto thee of violence, and thou wilt not save. I even cried violence to you, and you have not saved anyone, not even me. Okay. Why dost thou show me iniquity? Why do you show me weakness and cause me to behold grievance? Why do you show me weakness and cause me to grieve? I'm weak in my grievance, and I don't know how to channel this energy, this emotion. For spoiling and violence are before me. That means abundance and violence are together. These violent people, malicious people, are the ones that seems to be prospering. And they're sitting here before me. They're practically bragging. They flexing. And there are that raise up strife and contention. Okay? Therefore, the law is slacked, and judgment doth never go forth. That means the pendulum is not swinging back. It's swinging forward, but it's only in the advantage of the wicked. It's not swinging back to allow the ones that's at a disadvantage to reap their judgment. So it's saying, therefore the law is slacked, and the judgment doth never go forth. For the wicked doth compass about the righteous, therefore wrong judgment proceedeth. What Habakkuk is saying is that there's a lot of injustices happening for the righteous people because wicked surrounds them and nothing is being done about it. Now we're going to move down to Habakkuk 2 and 3. For the vision is yet for an appointed time. This is the Lord talking back to Habakkuk. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. So whatever you're trying to go through in this tunnel, just know whatever happened is supposed to happen. What God is expecting you to go through is because of what he's expected for the devil's plans to falter in your favor. We understand that the ways of the wicked will always be set up for the righteous. So when it says in Habakkuk 2 and 3, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, that means there's a time for this vision to come to pass. Expect the expectation, okay? But at the end it shall speak and not lie. There's not going to be a single eye missed on this encounter. When you come across the serpent, when you come across that python, when you come across the finger pointer, and when you come across that thief, it's going to be seen by everyone what they are doing to throw a pestilence on your destiny, snatch up your purity, do a destiny swap, and ride off into the sunset with your gifts, with your talents, with your abilities. And they're going to ride off into the sunset. Everybody going to see them sucker punch you. Everybody going to see them steal from you. And everybody's going to realize, man, if they were willing to do that to them, I don't care how hard and how long they was riding with us, they going to do it. They would have done it to us too. I'm glad that they're gone. I'm glad that they're out of our lives, because what we don't understand is sometimes when we're chosen to do a particular thing, people will snatch certain things. Some people will sucker punch us. Some people will falsely accuse us, false claim their self half to death, just so they can have a leg up. Okay? And you just showing another stick. Anyway, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. That means there will be proof, and somebody is going to speak on it. Though it tarry, wait for it. It's saying even though it seems like it's going to take a long time, it's not. Even though you feel like you can't bear to wait another moment, it's not. Because you have to understand that he's an on-time God. Ain't that what Dottie people said? So it says, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. Because it's going to happen. It's going to happen right when it's supposed to happen. It's going to happen the right when God expects it to happen, because he designed it that way so that we can have the apparatus to keep forward moving. The race is not given to the swift nor the strong, but to the ones that endures to the end. So when you come across that python, when you come across that serpent, when you come across that spiritual thief and that finger pointing spirit, you have to understand all of this opposition is so you could be glorified in his way, and everybody can see who did what, who played what role, and why you're moving forward anyway, because God only gave you permission despite other people's opposition. So when it comes to expecting the expectations, we have to understand, when you're dealing with hardships in your life, when certain relationships have certain types of discord, breaking apart, falling away, it's going to happen when God blesses you. Some people are jealous of your elevation. Some people don't want you to make it because they're comfortable with you struggling just like them. Some people don't feel like you deserve the elevation that they much rather get, forgetting that they forgot the main recipe of righteousness and humility in order to get to their place of ascension. They forgot to fall on their face. They got that title too quick. They got on that throne too fast. And because they feel like they got in it first, they forgot what the Bible also says, that the last shall be first and the first shall be last. So Move forward in life, understanding how expecting the expectations really work. I hope that blessed you in some way. And if you want a part 2, you're welcome to email me. My email goes as such: a.w.a.y.k.i.n.4@gmail.com. Once again, my name is Miss Awaken, and if we forget the acronym, it's Ancestry, Worth, Acclimate, Yield, Kinship, I Love You, and Never Judging. And as I always say, I hope that blesses you as much as pondering all of those things blesses me. I love every single one of you. God bless you, and God keep you.